And if you haven't, you can stay to learn, but you're not going to get a chance to do the final assignment. This is due in the Brightspace. There's a week, so 7 days deadline to do the assignment. And if you do it, you're going to get a badge, an e-badge that you can also post it on your resume. This is a very interesting topic because we know that you guys are living now in Canada. Canada is intercultural country, specifically Vancouver is intercultural city. There's going to be a lot of interactions with people with different cultures, religion, nationalities, and specifically the second part of the workshop is going to be talking about workplace, Canadian workplace, and how the intercultural competency plays within the workplace environment. Before we start, just a few items. If you can please turn off your cameras and your microphones. A lot of the time, you're going to make this workshop interactive, so we're going to be asking some questions. So feel free to raise your hand or put your answers in the chat. And Sandra is also going to be communicating with me and helping me with this workshop. So let's start. First question I have for you, it says here, what does the word culture refers to? In your opinion, what does the word culture refers to? And feel free to put your answer here. I launched a little poll. I'll take a minute or two, or you can put your answers in the chat. What does the word culture refers to? A lot of people are saying here it's diversity. That's excellent. Yes. What else? We have one response so far. What do you think, Sandra? In your opinion, what does the word culture associate?
Yes, we refer culture when we talk about, yes, diversity, like other perspectives, like also like how we see life and the way to behave. Yes, and
Excellent.
also
Yes.
because we have students from around the world here, let's see what they are answering. And also if you want to use the chat.
Sure. So the word culture, basically, it can relate to music, to art, to any of the country's background, their religion, but also it can relate to gender, values, and as well your beliefs. Is there any answers in the chat, Sandra?
Not yet. Let's
Not
see if
yet.
our students like it's the first week of classes. Then of course you have a lot of ideas. And feel free to share your thoughts, especially you are international students and you have a lot of perspectives about what is culture. Let's see.
Definitely.
Yes. We don't have more answers yet. Okay. We have one. Okay. They are asking for the link for registration. It's okay. If we have more answers, I will let you know.
No problem. So let's move on to the next slide. Next slide, I'm going to show you a short video called Cultural Iceberg. And it's about 2 minutes long. So look at it carefully. Sandra, you will just give a thumbs up if you can hear the video. And then we're going to talk a little bit about it. So let's watch the short video.
Let's see if the video is not, we don't have the sound.
Do you have the sound, Sandra?
No yet. Can we try it again? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, वो मैं क्या 2 बार परचेस हो गया है और फिर बाद में भी वो फुल नहीं रहा।
I hope you liked this video. Before we move on, there is a Sumanjeet. She commented in the chat, and it's really, really interesting. She said the term culture refers to the shared values, beliefs, customs, behaviors, and artifacts that characterize a group of people or a society. It encompasses the way people live, interact, and view the world, shaping their identity and sense of belonging. I think this is a great, great definition. So in this video, we saw that culture is actually an iceberg, that there's a lot of stuff about the culture that we actually do not talk about, and they are part of any culture. Next question that I have for you guys is I want you guys to share your unique country's culture. So it doesn't have to be limited to work. What is something, I know you're all international students, what is something that is unique for your culture? So, for example, I come from Europe, from Bosnia, and in my country, we have a really culture of coffee. So, if you, for example, go in a restaurant and ask for tea, people will ask, are you sick? Why are you drinking tea? Because you can only drink tea if you're sick. So, it's very, very heavily culture of coffee. So, what is something that is unique to your culture? I will put here a poll, but feel free also to put it in the chat. Somebody's saying in Sri Lanka, there's lots of history. That's great. What about you, Sandra? I know you're coming from Latin America. What is something that's unique to your culture?
Oh yes, I also was typing in the word cloud.
Okay. Mhm.
For us, I am from Colombia. For us, it's very important family and teamwork. We are a collectivistic like culture.
Mhm.
Then this is like special.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Sandra. Somebody's saying Philippines karaoke, Nigeria Oppo. A lot of people are also saying family and elderly. So we have a lot of different things.
Yes.
Samarjeet, thank you for your answer. She's saying Indian culture is a vibrant blend of tradition, languages, and religions, characterized by its spirituality, festivals, and diverse art forms. It emphasizes unity and diversity, showcasing harmony through unique customs, cuisine, and rich historical legacy.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's really, really great. So let's talk a bit about what is this workshop actually about? What are we going to be learning in this session? So first, we're going to be learning about and describing why intercultural competency is important today. Also, we are going to describing what the world culture refers to and its impact on people's behavior. Then we are going to be talking about describing what intercultural competency is and how we can use a culture map as a tool to improve on intercultural competency skills, which is very important. And the second part of the workshop, Sandra is going to go more into about workplace culture and how intercultural competency is important in Canadian workplace culture. So what is intercultural competency? This is a question that I would like to ask everybody. Feel free to put your answers in the chat. I'll wait a minute. What do you think is intercultural competency? And also, why do you think it's important? I'll give you a minute or two, and Sandra, you can read if there is any kind of answers in the chat.
Yes, let's see what our students. Oh, look, we have one. How different cultures work together. This is how
That's
we can work
correct.
together. Another option is the ability to navigate through cultural differences and also cultural diversity. I'm gonna share mine. It's important because we want to understand other perspectives.
Definitely. Specifically in the workplace environment, you're going to be working with people from different cultures who are probably having different views than yourself, and you're going to be working with them in different teams and on different projects. So how we interact and how we communicate and how we understand each other is going to be playing a really important role. Okay. Yes, Samanjeet, she says intercultural competency refers to the ability to effectively and respectfully communicate, interact, and work with people from different cultural backgrounds. It involves understanding, exactly appreciating, and adapting to cultural differences to foster meaningful relationships and achieve shared goals in diverse settings. Somebody also says the ability to interact in harmony with multiple cultures. Yeah, I think that's important. So harmony, communication, empathy, and understanding. These are the topics I think that we're going to be covering when we are talking about intercultural competency. So we already finished that. So a lot of people, a lot of our students know actually what is the intercultural competency means and why is it important. So a lot of the time it is basically the communication, more verbal and non-verbal communication skills. Let's move on to the next slide. It says here, what does this statement mean? Fish don't know they are in the water. What does this mean? I'll give you a few minutes. What does this mean? Fish don't know they're in the water. As I see, there's no answer. So basically what this means is this fish would be the last creatures to discover water simply because they know nothing else. They know no other reality, so there's nothing that they can compare it to. So similarly, this means, for example, if you're Spanish or any other nationalities and you have never been or traveled out of your country, you wouldn't realize how unique your culture is. So I want to ask another question. Is there anybody here who is coming here and UCW is their first travel experience overseas? I'll wait in the chat. So is there anybody who is this their first time going out of their country? Maybe Sandra, maybe you can share your experience, right? When you came to Canada. I'm going to ask you, what is one thing that was really different for you when you came here in Canada?
Yes, for me, when I arrived to Canada, I see the diversity, all the cultures, like when I was in the airport, like seeing people around the world. And also when I joined the university, because I was a student in the university, yes, like the diversity. And let's see in the chat, one student is answering that is the first time that a student is in Canada. And I am wondering, because we have here around, let's say, around 22 students. Let's see. I want to know, for Joseph, yes, it's mentioning that it's also the first time traveling abroad. And what is happening with our rest of the group? Is your first time? You can type in the chat. Let's see, because today we want to have a very active workshop and also to learn from your experiences. Oh yes, we have another student, Arsu. Let's say like with the answers, maybe 90% of the people answering in the chat, 90% are new in Canada. It's the first time.
Yes, definitely. So, of course, whenever you come to another country, you have something what's called a culture shock. So something that is very, very different than you are used to, and you need probably like 2 to 3 years to get used to different kind of, things and culture. It takes really, really some times. A lot of students, I'm reading the chat, a lot of the students are saying that this is their first time, and there is maybe about 10 or 15% that they actually traveled before. So let me ask you another questions. What skills are needed to communicate and work well with people from different backgrounds? Because you are going to need these skills. Right now at UCW, we have students from more than 90 countries, so that's really a lot. And same thing can happen at work. You will be working with people from many different continents and countries, and it's very, very important that you work well in a team. So what skills do you think employers are looking for when they're hiring? What is needed to work well with people from a different countries? I'm looking at the chat. A lot of people are saying being proactive, being adaptable, positive attitude, somebody saying communication skills. I think that's the most important because you have to really know how to communicate. Active listening and empathy, flexibility. These are excellent answers. Thank you so much. Being flexible and open-minded. Sumanjit is saying you need empathy, active listening, and adaptability to understand, respect diverse perspective. That's really, really important. I think the communication skill should be number one, specifically the listening, right? And also being empathetic and asking questions, right? Because if we don't understand something, it's always a good idea to know more about, to learn more and know more about the culture as well. I would also say following up with questions, rephrasing if something is not clear, and being definitely flexible. Okay, now we have again a short video. It's about 4 minutes long. I want you guys to watch it and then we're going to be discussing it. This one is about reading the air. It's explanation of how it is a good skill to have. Then when you are in a room and you don't understand something, how it's important to actually understand what is happening. So very, very interesting video. Sandra, just let me know if you can hear it.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to stop here because later on I'm going to be talking about the cultural map in more detail. I see there's somebody has a question here. Yes, go ahead. Sumanjit. Sumanjit, you have your hand up. Is there a question? I guess not.
Oh, maybe just was he just pressed the
Okay.
button. Okay.
Yeah, so we saw in this, we'll continue. We saw in this video the importance of communication skills and how it's important to read the air in the room. But now we're going to move on slowly, and I'm going to start to explain about Erin Mayer and her cultural map. We saw Erin in this previous video. What is she saying is basically that different countries, they follow different business styles due to their cultural differences. Okay, and this affects the work environment as well. So for example, there is difference in different countries in how people communicate, how to manage people, how to form teams, how to evaluate others, how to persuade others, how to make a decision, and also how to disagree, right? How to have conflicts. So now we're going to be talking about a little bit more in depth about her Erin Mayer's cultural map. So we're going to be reviewing first parts first and then the second 4 items next. So basically what Erin is saying in her long video is that socializing with different cultures can sometimes be very difficult. So it's method of conversation that is really, really different. So for example, she used some countries in the video, I think she said in the USA and in Australia. These are the countries that they have a really low context with accurate communication, so which is really, really clear. In her map, she's saying that high context cultures, such as, some Asian countries, such as Japan, Korea, they're more complicated, but more subtle. So sometimes you need reading between the lines, right? Like you saw in that reading the air video when she had no clue because nobody was raising the hand. So she didn't really know who is going to ask the question or who is not. So there has to be a balance between speaking and understanding, and you have to also be sometimes aware of the body language as well. So when we have to also provide criticism, right, and feedback, and a lot of the time you'll have this example in the workplace. Some direct cultures, for example, like where I'm from, like Eastern Europe or Russia, they're very clear and direct in their feedback. So there is no embarrassing. They will call you, and then in front of the people, they will tell you, you're not doing a good job. Where there is different cultures, such as in Japan and other Asian countries, where people are more polite and criticism is given privately. So for example, if your manager has something to say to you, they're not going to tell you in front of everybody, but they're going to tell you to the room, and maybe they're giving you a constructive criticism. So we have 4 groups. So we have low context and direct criticism. So these are some European countries like Germany, France. Then we have high context and direct criticism. This is probably Eastern Europe and Russia. Also, we have low context and indirect criticism, such as United States, Canada. And also we have some Asian countries with high context and indirect criticism, such as Japan and Korea. So these maps are showing us exactly different countries and how people communicate within these countries. Also in the chat, you can put maybe what do you think about where you're coming from? Is it a low context or is it a high context country? Is it direct or indirect? So I'll give you a minute or two to answer. Where are you coming from? How is the communication style? Where are you on the cultural map? Somebody saying low context and direct. High context again means situation and facial expression, everything is given already. So no need to give more information. While low context, it's mean more direct and explicit because the lack of contextual info. A lot of people are saying low context, low context. So basically, it's just saying if you're speaking with somebody directly or indirectly, and also how you're giving the feedback, right? So in Russia, very direct, negative feedback is given without hesitation, where in some Asian countries, they're going to be giving you some constructive feedback. They're not going to be so harsh on you. Let me just quickly look at the chat to see what other students are saying. Somebody saying sometimes it's low as well as high, but direct with verbal. But a lot of students are saying it's the low context. Sometimes it can be also a mixture as well. Thank you guys for your answers. So here we have about the communication, is it direct, indirect? Also about the evaluation, right? How is the feedback given? Is it direct feedback or indirect feedback? Also with persuading, is it direct or indirect? And also the leading, right? Sometimes we have the leaders or the managers where have hierarchical style, like in Asian countries, nobody's going to ask you for your opinion. You're just going to follow the orders. And where in some other countries, it's more equitarian, meaning that you will be involved in the decision making as well. Also with the trust, we have how you building trust with somebody. Is it direct or indirect, high context or a low context? So think about it like, and maybe in comparison, country where you're coming from, how is it? And also now for some of you maybe who have started working in Canada, how does this differs? So here again, this is the cultural map. So it has many different scales based on the countries across the world. But now we are going to be having a 5-minute break, and Sandra is going to put the link for the cultural map in the chat, and she's going to upload the 3 maps, and then we are going to be talking and chatting about the map. So I'll give you about 3 minutes, and I just want you to look at the maps and also think about your culture and also make some predictions about Canada. Where do you think in the Erin Myers culture map is Canada, and why? Now it's 2:02, so let's meet back at 2:07, and then we're going to be continuing the discussion. In the meantime, feel free to put your comments in the chat as well.
Perfect.
Excuse me, Sandra.
Yes, give us a moment.
I have
Give us,
concern.
yes, give us a moment to answer your question. Okay?
I have
Yes.
concern. I cannot send messages at chat.
Oh, interesting. Then no worries. Like, if you want to participate, you also can raise your hand, and we can allow you to share your ideas. Okay? No worries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are back after the break. Before the break, Sandra put in the chat the 3 maps, the cultural maps, so you guys can see the different communication styles, the direction, the feedback. And I asked you to think about it during the break and to connect it with your culture that you're coming from and Canada. So if there's any questions or comments, please put it in the chat. Is there anything, Sandra, in the chat that the students wrote, or let me see the chat?
The chat, we don't have comments in the chat, and only one student, she's mentioning that she cannot write in the chat, but if she wants to talk, she can
Sure,
raise her
yes.
hand. Perfect.
Yes, go ahead.
Perfect. Then allow me to ask our student, like Sherilyn, you want to share your experience with the maps? If you want, feel free to share with us. Okay, maybe she's not.
Okay, I see somebody has a hand here. Yeah, Sherilyn. Yeah, she has a hand, but maybe let's give her a minute or two. Yeah, anybody wants to comment about, yeah, Joseph? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm from Nigeria and
Okay.
Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Nigeria, looking at this, the management style is a bit hierarchical. So
Okay.
it's more of a top down, even though businesses will say, well, they want to carry everybody along, but most times the influence is top down,
Mhm.
it's hierarchical. You
It's
don't
top down.
challenge your boss. But again,
I
in
see.
terms of communication, it's more is a bit consensual. So normally you don't find people want to, you don't want to really talk down on people openly. You don't challenge, you most likely don't challenge people openly. You could challenge them behind the scene, but not openly.
So it's
That's
not that
how
direct.
it's not
I
that
see.
direct. Yeah, it's not that direct. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice that you shared that. Somebody else wants to share?
We have Tamara in the chat that Christian Pablo Flores, he is from Chile, and he's sharing with us that he considered that in Chile, they are very emotionally expressive, and also in Chile, they avoid confrontation. Interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Interesting.
But
So
also, Christian is mentioning that he considers, like after the activity, that Canada is less emotional. And also, maybe also in Canada, he considers Canada avoids confrontation.
I see. Okay, good, great. Yeah, that's my next slide. What do you think that why do you think that some of the maps don't show Canada? I mean, it's hard to answer this question specifically for our international students. Maybe you know didn't spend much time here, and also you don't know how's the work culture and environment. But what is your guess? Let me put it that way. Why do you think that you cannot find Canada in some of the maps? And it has to do something with intercultural competency. Somebody saying Canada is less emotionally expressive. Yes, Sandra, you already read that. So basically, I don't see any answers, but to answer it, Canada is a country of many immigrants. And many Canadians originally came from various countries carrying their original culture. So therefore, it might be very difficult, you know, to identify what is a typical Canadian culture, especially in Vancouver, right? As we said, you know, at UCW, there's only students from more than 90 countries. The people come from different continents, countries, and then you know it takes 3 to 5 years to become a Canadian citizen and adopt to new culture. So for that reason, I don't think Canada is not usually on the map. Next slide is talking about and discussing the three maps. So we heard your feedback from different countries. We heard about Nigeria. We heard also from Erin about Germany. We heard about your experience. If there is anything else, I would like to hear more. I'll wait a minute or two to see what you think about how it is working with people from different backgrounds. How would you strategize or communicate when you have a conflict, right? Because a lot of the time, as when you're applying here for a job, for example, the interviewer will ask you a question, you know, how would you handle conflict, right? Because here, Canada is a culture, specifically the workplace, where you want to avoid the conflict, right? You want to avoid the confrontation. Everybody needs to get along. So think about that, you know, what would you answer to that question? How would you avoid conflict? And again, it has to do with intercultural competency. It has to do again with communication, right? Everything has to be communicated. So I'll wait a minute or two to see if there's any more comments about how to avoid conflict. How to avoid conflict in the workplace, and also about the three maps. If there is anybody else who wants to comment specifically about their experience in Canada.
Yes, Tamara, let's see what our students will share with us, because especially you are international students. For your classes, you will have also group assignments. You will be with professors from
Exactly.
different countries.
Mhm.
Then I think this workshop is very, very important to give you the tools in your daily life as University Canada West student. Then let's see what our students will share with us.
Yeah, don't be shy. You can raise your hand and speak. You can also put your answer in the chat. There is no basically wrong answer. We really value and appreciate your feedback. As I said, this is going to be very, very, very useful. Specifically once you start working and once you start going into the interviews. I'll wait a minute or two to see if there's anybody that wants to share.
Yes.
Okay, so before we move on, so this is the first part of the presentation where we talked about intercultural competencies, what does the world culture means. We look at how it's important to read the air in the room. We saw another video from the cultural maps, learn about high context, low context countries, about the feedback, about the confrontation, about the hierarchy. And now the second part of the topic, Sandra is going to be talking about Canadian workplace culture and how is that important and connected to intercultural competency. I think somebody chatted, it says, I feel like the people I have met in Canada avoid conflict and everybody focus on their business. Exactly. I think, especially in the workplace, Canadians tend to really avoid the conflict, and they're very, very easygoing, which is really important to know how to act once you start working. That's excellent, what you wrote here in the chat. Thank you, Joseph. So I don't think there's any other questions or comments in the chat, but now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Sandra is going to use the rest of the workshop to talk about the Canadian workplace culture and the importance of intercultural competencies. So Sandra, when you're ready, I'll wait for you here.
Yes, then in a few seconds, I'm going to continue. And I want also, before like the last part of the workshop, that as Tamara mentioned, we are going to talk about Canadian workplace. And it's very important for our students to compare, okay, what is happening in your countries, what is your perspective of culture, and what is happening in Canada. Then allow me to start with a question. Let's discuss a little before we go in details about the working environment. I want to know, do you have any work experience in Canada? I want to see your answers in the chat because look, you are maybe in the MBA program, or maybe you are a bachelor like of arts, or maybe, oh, let's see. Please put your answer in the chat. I want to see. Also, we have a poll question, and feel free in the chat or in the poll, and we will see. If you have Canadian experience, maybe you will complement this information, but if you don't have any Canadian experience, this conversation is very, very important for you. Okay, let's see in the chat, Tamara. I see a lot of no working experience in Canada, no working experience.
Yes, I would say more no's than yes. I think more of our students still didn't have the opportunity to work.
Exactly. And this is why we want to learn in the moment that we want to start working, because maybe today you are from the first term, maybe the second term, but if you are in the university, you want to develop both skills at the same time, your knowledge with the classes, but also to be ready to go to the working environment. Then thank you for your answers. And also allow me to analyze this. Based on the activity we had before, you remember the 3 maps, and we saw the different like perspective of cultures, communication. Then what do you think? Allow me to ask, and you can guess. What do you think that Canadian work experience is important? Okay, allow me to read this question, and you will try to guess what is the word behind. Then I'm gonna read the sentence. Canadian work experience is important because the Canadian way of business operation, business manner and ethics, and work culture might be totally something from the ones in your country. What do you think? Let me check. What do you think is the word? I see. Oh, look. Okay, I see. Did you participate in this workshop before? No, it's your first time? Okay, I see. Perfect. Good job. Good job. I'm going to show you what is the word. Ta-da! It's true. Because the Canadian environment is totally different from your country. And because it's different, what we need to do? We need to learn. We need to be adaptable. We need to be flexible, and we want to do like to have a good experience in our working environment. Then this is why, based on this conversation, allow me to share some examples, okay? And I'm glad that we have students from around the world. And what I want to talk to you, do you see this kind of like the business culture around the world? Okay, then let's compare what is going to be like our activity right now. And I want your full participation in this activity. Let's see. I'm going to start reading like what is the case. And you will mention what is the country you consider that has that characteristic. Okay, let's start. Let's start easy. Let's start with the first one. What do you imagine in the case of option A? Once a relationship has evolved, 3 kisses on the cheek from greetings. Like, can you imagine, like, if you need to make, like, to give kisses, or if you, in that relationship, what do you think is the country for the scenario A? Is China, Spain, Russia, Japan, Belgium? When the relationship has evolved, 3 kisses on the cheek for greetings. Okay, I see Spain. I see Japan. Do you think Japan? Belgium. Okay, I don't have the same answer. I have a lot of answers. Okay, let's check. I'm gonna show you what is that country, and you will learn, and you will validate. Oh, who answered Belgium? Irene, Irene, you did right? Okay, I see. Nosifo? Okay, also Havani. Okay, are you from Belgium? Have you ever traveled there? Okay, I have some students. Interesting. Okay, Irene. Oh, and how did you guess? Nosifo. Okay, interesting. But you have a good, like, culture guess. Okay. Oh, you watch a movie. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. Okay, let's move to the second case. Imagine, what is the country for option B? People can be late for a business meeting. Let's say, in which country you think that for a business meeting you can be late and it's okay? Okay, I see Russia, I see Spain. Can you guess? Okay, I have between Spain and Russia. Spain and Russia. Okay, maybe Spain is winning. I'm gonna show you the answer. What is the answer? Oh, look. If you think that is Spain, it's Russia. Oh, interesting. Okay, this happened in Russia. I don't know if we have any student from Russia. Oh, maybe we don't have students from Russia, but now you know. Okay, let's continue with the case number C. Okay, let's pay attention. Imagine that you can take a nap on your working day. Imagine you were working in the morning, after lunch, you take a nap for a few minutes, and you continue working in the afternoon. What is the country? I see Spain, I see Japan, China. China for sure? Okay, let's see. I have 3 options for countries in the chat. Let's see what I have here. And the answer is Spain. Oh, Ujango, you mentioned China for sure. Have you ever traveled to China? Oh, okay. Now we know. Perfect. Let's compare. Oh, you saw it. Okay, maybe. Okay. Let's compare the other case. Option D. You must bring a gift for a business meeting with customers. What do you think? If you are in that country, for a business meeting, you need to bring a gift. I have China, Japan, China. Okay. China and Japan. Let's see what is the answer. Oh, look. Who is here from China? Are you from China? Someone from China here? Oh, interesting. Okay, let's check the last one, but the last one you don't need to guess because, of course, the answer is in the slide. There is a rule in that country that you should sit where in a taxi. There is a rule about who should sit where in a taxi. Interesting. I didn't know that. That rule is in Japan. Interesting. Have you ever visited Japan before? Okay. Then oh yes, Veronica. Okay, Veronica, love Japan. Okay, interesting. Then what I want to analyze here, Veronica Uyango, you didn't visit Japan, but you know this. Interesting. Okay, then let's analyze something. We were talking about business culture around the world, okay? But remember that this last part of the workshop is about what topic? Do you remember? Canadian workplace. Then allow me to navigate with you in each of these cases. We have 5 cases. Allow me to review if these situations that you can do around the world, if you can do the same in Canada, okay? Let's go together. Let's go together. Do you think that in Canada, after like building a good relationship, you need to give 3 kisses after the meeting? What do you think? Yes or no? Oh, I see. No, no, no. Let's see what is the answer. Yes, correct. In Canada, you are not kissing, or giving hugs. No. Okay, now you know. Now you know. Let's check the second one. Do you think that in Canada, people can be late for a business meeting or for a class? If you want to join this workshop, can you be late? Oh, you think that no. 100% right. 100% right. You need to be on time. And also, if you apply this content for your classes, remember to be 5 minutes before to be ready, always on time. Perfect. Do you think that in Canada, if you are working, for example, Tamara and I, we are working in the morning, and do we take a quick nap to continue working in the afternoon here in Canada? What do you think? Oh, you think that not. Let's see. No, 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 no. Yes, correct. In Canada, yes, usually we don't have that time to sleep and to continue working. No, we organize the time, we have our break, and we continue working in the afternoon. Okay, now you know, perfect. Let's see. Imagine that you are in a business, you have a business meeting. Do you think that in Canada you need to bring a gift for that business meeting and for customers? What do you think? In Canada, do you need to bring gifts? No, no, no. Oh, okay. She won. She won. You say that yes. And I suppose she won. Are you from China? She won. Are you from China? Oh, yes. Okay. Look, but she won. This is also especially for you because we know that in China you can do so. But let's see if you can do this in Canada. Imagine that you have your own business. Okay. She won. I need to say that in Canada, no, no, you don't need to bring gifts. Okay. Okay. And let's check the last one. If you take a taxi, do you think that there is any rule about? No, exactly. Okay, then this was just a simple activity. Okay, very simple activity, and we were like navigating around the world. But it's just for you to be aware that, do you remember in the initial video, like it's not because you always were in your country, all the things are the same in the like in other places. You need to be aware about the cultural differences. Okay, perfect. Then thank you for your active participation. Thank you so much for your feedback. Now is the time to move, and we are going to learn from a video. Do you want to watch a video? Let's see. Okay, if you want to watch a video, then please put attention. I also want us to ask Tamara as soon as I start the video if we can listen to the video. And in the video, we will also learn some additional examples, okay? Then let's start with this video. And I want you to pay attention. And at the end, I want you, maybe 2, 3 students to share what you like it, okay? Or if you don't like it, let me know. Okay, let's start the video. And you, isn't it? Perfect. What do you think? What do you think? Look, only 2 minutes video, and we saw a lot of options, and also as basic things to say like yes or no. Do you remember the country that yes is no and no is yes? Like you see, like also with the gestures. Then I want to ask, and please feel free to raise your hand. This time, yes, if you want to type in the chat, perfect. But also, I want to listen to your voices. Like, do you want to speak? Do you want to share with us? What did you learn of the video? Or maybe something was new? I'm going to help Uyango. Uyango mentioned, I like it. Mongolia is similar with Russia. Oh, interesting, interesting. Let's see in our, let's see. Please feel free to raise your hand. Did you like the video? Or what was new for you? Uyango, please talk. Unmute
Okay.
yourself. Okay, share with us.
Yeah, I truly engaged it. It was interesting, and some like signs are quite interesting for me. For example, like I never know that this is a coin for Japan. Like Japan is quite close with Mongolian, but I didn't know that. So it was interesting, and also like I know some Sri Lanka lady like saying looking like that, but I didn't understand what does that mean. Like does she like or not? And a few months ago, but now I think I can understand what was that.
Yes, good, good. Thank you for your feedback. And also remember that this, like, okay, but if in Japan, like, is money. You see, like, something
Yeah,
interesting.
it's
Oh,
really good.
thank you for your feedback. I want to listen to other students. Like, did you find something new? Like, feel free to share with us. I also saw Arsu. Arsu, please share with us. Unmute yourself. And also, if you want to turn on your camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi there. I felt the France alcohol thing, the grabbing the nose and doing something was very unique. And in Brazil, the money thing, like in India, we say this is okay and all good. And in Brazil, it's like indicating money was very different for me. Yeah.
Interesting. And now you know. And also now you know, for example, you are in the class, in a class project, let's say, or with a like teamwork activity. You know now if there is someone from India here, or like now we know like if they are doing this, you see?
Yeah. That is like, yeah, we understood what you're saying.
Exactly, exactly. Perfect. Thank you for sharing your feedback. If there is no more comments, we are going to move for the next slide. But yes, it's just simple things we can apply every day in the working environment, of course, because we are talking about Canadian workplace, but also in the university, in your classes, okay? Okay, let's continue with the activity. And I also want your 100% of attention, okay? Let's move to the next slide. Okay, let's check. This activity, I want you to analyze together, okay, as a team. Let's talk about what are the 4 reasons that Canadian employers like want for you to have working experience. What do you think is important that before they hire you, they want you to have some skills, okay? Then let's try to guess. Let's try to guess, and we are going to analyze one by one. For example, if we are talking about before our next company will hire us, what do we need to have? Your next supervisor, your next like company want for you to know that Canadian work with, what do you think? Can we guess? We want to know about Canada. Exactly. I like that. Pasan, thank you. Yes, you know about Canada, the culture. Yes. What else? What else do we need to know? Maybe additionally of culture, they want you to know. Okay, I'm gonna help you with the first one. Okay, let's start with the first one. Yes. Oh, look, Pasan. Excellent, Pasan. Now you guess too. Perfect. Then, yes, of course. you need to know before start working. Okay, be ready. This is why today you are in this workshop, because you will know more about the culture, but also work ethics, the manners, and the operational flows, the business operation. Okay, perfect, perfect. Then now you are familiar with this. Let's discuss the second. The second. Imagine. Okay, good. I didn't read and now you have the answer. Perfect. Okay, excellent. In the second, the sentence is, you have a good command of verbal and written. Okay, good. Veronica, Genevieve, thank you. Then you mentioned language. And what is the language we speak in Canada? Yes, Joseph. Excellent. Then this is the answer. Then let's read again the sentence. Exactly. Oh, also French, of course. Yes, you are right. In this case, we have English. Okay. Then what they are looking for us before they hire us? They want to know that we have a good command of English in verbal and written way. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Then now we know the workflow, the culture, also the language. Let's check the next sentence, okay? What do we need to have? We need to prove that we are, let's say, we are good in something, because some Canadian employers keep you as an employee. What exactly? You mentioned, Pasan, maybe we need to be competent. What other skill we need to have good relationship with others? We need to prove that we are good in. Okay. Allow me to help you. We want to prove also that we are trustworthy. Okay, you know that work ethics is very important. And also, of course, yes. And also, I see an answer for the last one. Perfect. This is the relationship. Good. We need to have good digital literacy. And also, this is also connected with communication skills. Thank you, Sumanjit. Thank you. Yes, as Pasan is mentioning, also technological and those skills related to MS Office, the computers. Perfect. Then, allow me to review this just to practice a little. What are the 4 reasons, okay, that we need to have in mind before start working in Canada? Then now we know we need to know the culture, the working environment. Also, we need to have a good level of communication with our English. Also, we need to apply our ethics and to be trustworthy. And also, we want to have those digital literacy skills. By the way, we have a workshop in that competency. And also, you can register later for that workshop. Okay, perfect. Then, with this in mind, allow me also to share another information with you. What happened? Let's practice, okay? Let's practice. About the Canadian work experience, okay? Allow me to ask some questions, and please in the chat, when I read each question, you need to answer yes or no, okay? Very simple. Then, what do you think? In Canada, only you can have only part-time jobs? Okay, or allow me to ask in a different way. If you have a part-time job, this is also Canadian experience. A part-time job is Canadian experience? True or false? Part-time jobs are considered Canadian experience? Yes, true. Okay, true. Oh, good, perfect. This is the answer. Yes. If you have a part-time job, for example, now you can work as a part-time student. Yes, you can include this as the Canadian work experience. Okay, perfect. Then now we know that this first answer is true. We can have a part-time job and it's Canadian experience. Allow me to read the second sentence. You will say if it's true or if this sentence is false. To have Canadian experience, we need to work only for more than a year? More than a year is the only way to see Canadian experience? Interesting. Okay, thank you for sharing. Yes, correct. Canadian experience is not, only 1 year and it's Canadian experience, also you can have less. Perfect. Okay, perfect. And allow me to ask the last question. Imagine that in that case, you have a job in a restaurant, or maybe you are a cashier, but in that case, you cannot include that experience because the statement says that in a restaurant or as a cashier is not related to Canadian experience. What do you think? True or false? Arzu is saying that false. Pavan is false. Oh, good. Good answer. Yes, it's false because, of course, if you have a part-time job, let's say in a restaurant or in customer service, of course, you can include this in your resume and this is considered Canadian experience. Perfect. Perfect. Then, in that case that we have a perspective about what are the important like recommendations if you want to start working in Canada, what is also considered like to have Canadian working experience, allow me to discuss another important topic. Let's think. I want to listen from you and please feel free to type in the chat or also to raise your hand, okay? What do you think about this question? What are the benefits for you to have a Canadian work experience? What are the benefits? Can you type in the chat? Let's take 1 or 2 minutes to think. Only 1 minute to think is enough. Why do you think is important? What are the benefits for you to have Canadian work experience? Okay, Arzu, thank you. You mentioned that to get to know the culture. Yes. What are other benefits? Let's see if in the chat, Tamara, do we have some students? Okay, Sherilyn.
It says in the chat, valuable skills, soft skills, transferable skills. Somebody saying pathway to PR, to understand work environment, to increase your chance of being hired. So let me answer this question, Sandra. So in terms of what Canadian employers are looking for, when they're looking with experience and education, they put more value on Canadian work experience. So I strongly advise the students, start working as soon as you can. It's good for your networking. It's good to put on your resume. You're gaining experience, references. So there's many benefits. It doesn't matter if it's a part-time job, if it's a volunteer experience, maybe it's internship or COP. You really need to start having a minimum of 6 months to a year of Canadian work experience before you're done with your studies.
Yes, Tamara, thank you for sharing. And also, we want to talk like why it's important to have this Canadian experience. And allow me to share with you some examples. But let's see before, do we have, Tamara, in the chat, like new answers? Oh, I see one that is very good. Increase your network.
It says it allows you to know the Canadian culture and Canadian way of doing things.
And Nosifo, yes, especially some like recommendations and why it's important to have Canadian experience is that reason. Because we want to learn more about how is the working environment in Canada. And also, look this, imagine that you just start that job and you will have an onboarding process. And we want to get familiar about what is that onboarding process because they will also ask you for your SIN number, bank account. Also, you need to know that you need to give them the information about your study permit. Then this is why we want to be familiar with those processes before we have one, okay? And let's see. Also, I see in the chat because we need to, improvise the skills that are required for a job. This is interesting. More than improvise, I would say if you apply for a job, it's because you have the skills, okay? Otherwise, this is not the job for you. Let's continue reviewing other important benefits. We want also, with CDC especially, pay attention to me, if you are in the process to look for a job, also you need to be familiar about, how do you need to build your resume? If you need to write a cover letter, or maybe if you have that interview, then it's important to be prepared before in order to have a good selection, like a good process if you are finally selected. And this is why in CDC, we can help you about that. And finally, let's say, what happened in Canada. And Tamara, for example, if you are in the process to apply for that job and if you were selected, they will ask you for some professional references. And what do we need to consider for professional references, Tamara?
So the employers will ask 2 to 3 professional references. So meaning you have to give somebody that knows you in the work capacity. So it cannot be your friends or family member, but it has to be a coworker and preferably supervisor. So usually Canadian employers, they're not going to go calling back home like India or Iran or Colombia or another country. So in that case, what you can do is you can ask for a referral and recommendation on your LinkedIn profile. So that, because employers will be looking at your LinkedIn and your social media, so you can ask for recommendation or referrals. For example, you can ask a reference from your professors here at UCW, or if you're volunteering somewhere, also you can ask for references. Anybody from your part-time job, you can ask for references. So in a way, it's really good to be in good connections with your teammates and people at work and your supervisor. So by the time you leave a job, you can always ask for the references.
Yes, then now you know what Tamara is sharing with us. Like, pay attention because this is key. This is key to have also in your selection process good references. And allow me to discuss something. We were talking about why it's important to have like Canadian experience and what are the benefits. But I have another question for you. How we can get that work experience? Do you have any idea about how? Let's see in the chat. If I want to start working, how? Can you share some ideas with me? Let's see in the chat how we can get that Canadian work experience. Oh, Pathan, good, good. Yes, you are mentioning like you can also participate as a volunteer. Yes, yes. Estela, okay, you're mentioning the same. What other options? We also were talking about this before. Okay, if we want to have, yes, I see like internships. Yes, also in the university, we have the GPP program, Graduate Practicum Program. Perfect. Oh, yes, working on campus. Yes. Then you just mentioned all the answers that I had before prepared for you, and it's correct. You can be like participate as a volunteer. Also, as we talked before, you can have a part-time job or a full-time job. We also have during the term some like workshops. We have one workshop about job search strategies. You can also take a look of that. You also can apply for an internship, or as I mentioned before, we have the practicum program. And look, this is very simple. You just need to plan like what is the role you are looking for, how you can like apply for some options. But I want to mention something. Remember that if you are today in this workshop, if you are a UAP student, or if you are like in like MBA foundation, you need to be careful about applying for like jobs, because in that case you are not allowed as a MBA foundation and UAP to work. Then this is why Tamara always will suggest our students to contact the office for international students, also to know the immigration rules, because if you are a student, you want to take care of your student status and do the things in the correct way. Is true, Tamara?
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Yes, because we are building like our reputation and our story in Canada. Okay, and finally, let's check this. If you are like, imagine that you were looking for that job, you were selected, and tomorrow you will start your new working experience. This means that you are in the onboarding process. Then what do you need to know for this regarding this onboarding process? Do you have any idea? Let's imagine like you started working tomorrow, and what do you need to consider? Any guess? You need to know different things about the working environment. Okay, good. Be on time. Yes. What else we need to consider to have this good onboarding process? We need to know about rules and regulation. Is correct. Work ethics. Yes, is correct. Let's see what else do you need to consider, especially because Canada is a different workplace than your countries. Okay, allow me to help you. Okay, rights and responsibilities. Allow me to help you. When you start working in Canada, you need to remember that you will have a probation period, okay? This means that during the initial 3 months, you will also agree with your like new supervisor, like what are your KPIs, like those goals. And also you need to receive during the initial time, you will receive a training and you want to become familiar with the working environments, like with your colleagues. Then this is why it's very important to know after these 3 months period, if you complete it, you can like be like just be part of that company team. Tamara, do we have any additional suggestion about the 3 initial
Yes.
working months?
Yes, so Manjeet gave a great answer. She said, after getting a job, focus on building strong relationship with colleagues, understanding workplace expectations, and delivering quality work. Continuously seek opportunities for growth, feedback, and skill development to enhance your career. I want to say here that feedback is really important because during those first 3 months, the employer can let you go without giving you any reason. So it's always a good idea, if you don't understand something, instead of just saying, yes, 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 ask questions, because that's going to be really crucial in what Samarjeet says. You really need to understand what is expected from you. You want to learn about other team members. You want to learn about the work environment. The most important, what is expected from you, and ask questions. Always ask for feedback. The good opportunity would be to maybe email your supervisor and say, can we have a monthly or maybe weekly meetings? I would like to know what am I doing well, but also what are some things that I need to be improving.
Exactly. And what Tamara is recommending us, yes. For example, we need also to be aware with the HR team about, yes, like if you start, let's say, if you want to start working, at least you can negotiate. You cannot wait maybe more than 2 weeks or a month to start working. You need to be clear about that. And also to know a little more about when to accept the job offer. Also, like, let's talk about the lunch break. In Canada, most of the time you only have half an hour, 30 minutes to have your break and to continue working. This is why when we were talking about to take a nap, in other countries you can do this. Here, like not, you only have 30 minutes. And also it's important for you, if apply your time management skills. But if you need to work overtime, you need to get the approval from your supervisor before that. Also, another important aspect, you need to pay attention about if you want to use a sick day or if you need any to have any permission for day of approval. Everything, as Tamara is mentioning, you need to have an open communication, ask questions, open feedback, because you cannot make the decisions alone. Now you are part of a team. Also, how you need to dress in that working environment. Sometimes Fridays, you can be more casual, but you are the image of the organization. This is why you need to take care of your presentation. And also, you need to be mindful about, is your work only like in the office, or is hybrid? Is like, how is like the style? Then these are some of the recommendations. We want you to pay attention to be more familiar with the new working environment, because if you are now working in the Canadian workplace, you want us to have a high performance because you want to continue growing in that place. Okay, now I'm going to stop and I want to ask a next question. After you participating in this workshop with Tamara and with me, I want to ask the same question that we asked in the beginning. Can you explain what the word intercultural competency means? Can you now, after our discussion, can you type in the chat yes, no, or maybe? Because we were talking about intercultural competency, then are you now confident about what intercultural competency is? Let's type in the chat. Yes, I see one yes. Yes, okay. This means that Nosifo and Irene and Arsu, you learned something new today. Okay, then now you know what it is. Perfect. Thank you. And another question. Let's check quickly. Can you please type in the chat some of the key skills we need to have in order to develop our intercultural competency? What are some key skills? You can type 1 or 2. Okay, communication, perfect. Adaptability, good. Tamara, do we see more skills in the chat?
I see the communication. I see also active listening skills.
Perfect, perfect. Then this means, Tamara, that our students were paying attention, we were participating, and they learned a lot. Thank you so much for your, and look, Suman hit, perfect. Yes, I also agree, open mindset, self-reflection, excellent. Then what happened? Now that we completed the content of the workshop, it's important for Tamara and for me to let you know that if you were registered before to this workshop, now in Brightspace, you will see all the information because in 1 week from now on, you need to submit an assignment. Then please go to Brightspace. You will see the instruction of the assignments. And what happens is as soon as you submit the assignment in 1 week, Tamara and I, we will have the time to grade your assignment. And as soon as you have like the grading, and you can get the e-badge. Okay, then please put this in your calendar to submit the assignment on time. And finally, I have 2 things to mention. Number 1, remember that in CDC also we have different activities. We have events, workshops. I want you to include in your agenda for the next days. If you want to participate in the workshop of teamwork and collaboration, or let's say digital networking, or to be in the workshop this week about promote yourself in 30 seconds, you also can like go to register and to participate, because we want to invite you not only to participate in those activities, but also to start working in one-on-one sessions to be like to receive advice from like for your resume, for your cover letter. Then I want to ask quickly, can you type in the chat, what did you learn today? If you learned something new, what is the conclusion? Or if you want to like participate, raising your hand. Let's see. What did you learn today? Like, what are your takeaways? I'm gonna see because we have only 1 minute before finishing the workshop. And we want to see if you learned something new. Okay, Joseph, do you want to share with us? Yes, Joseph.
Yes, I'll just want, I think my key takeaway, I mean, it's the importance of gaining some Canadian work experience along with study. And the fact that it just has to be something, a work that is value adding, no matter how small it seems, but as long as it's value adding. Yeah, so you might not look for something big. Any value adding work, whether on campus or off campus, depending on what your study permit allows. Thank you.
Exactly. Oh, excellent. I'm glad for that. And Tamara, looks, I see the students were very active.
Yeah, I
And
would like to just read because Sumanjit, she summarized it very perfectly, the whole workshop. She said, to enhance cultural competency, practice active listening, maintain an open mindset, and engage in self-reflection by learning about and respecting diverse cultures. I think it all comes down to that, is respecting, listening, and learning from one another.
Excellent. Tamara, I think our students like pay attention, and the most important is you are here to learn, and now you can apply this every day in your working environment and also in your classes. Then what I want to mention, because it's now 3 p.m., I also going to, in the chat, you can see like the link. This is like a survey because we want to improve. Feel free to take maybe 2-3 minutes to complete the survey, and Tamara and I will receive your comments. And also remember that in CDC, you can contact us. You can have one-on-one appointment. Also, as I mentioned before, you can participate in the workshops and we will have different activities. Then thank you so much for your time, Tamara. Thank you also for the explanation you provide us in the beginning of the workshop. I don't know, Tamara, if you want to complement something additional.
Yeah, sure. I would like just to promote our services. I think it's very crucial that students realize how the importance of Career Development Center and seeing us early. We can really help you with your resume and with your interviews and a job search skills and career planning. All our services are free. And here on the screen, you can visit us in person, in West Bender campus, or book a virtual appointment on one-on-one. We would really love to work with you. Thank you again for participation. There were some great answers, some great conversation, and thank you also, Sandra.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure to co-facilitate this workshop with Tamara, and we learned a lot. Also, thank you because Tamara and I, we learned a lot from you. Then have a beautiful afternoon and see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.